The Last Transmission. Chapter 1: Static in the Desert. Dr. Sarah Chen had been staring at the same empty screen for 3 hours when the universe decided to change everything. The digital clock on her console read 3:33 a.m. in glowing red numbers, and outside her research station, the Nevada desert stretched endlessly under a blanket of stars. She had been monitoring deep space transmissions for NASA's SETI program for 3 years now, stationed at this isolated facility 300 miles from the nearest town. The coffee in her thermos had gone cold hours ago, but Sarah barely noticed. This was her life now, endless nights spent cataloguing radio silence, documenting the profound loneliness of the cosmos. Then the radio crackled to life with a sound unlike anything she had ever heard. She grabbed her radio with trembling fingers. "Control, this is Dr. Chen at Station 7. I'm picking up an anomalous signal on frequency 1420.405 MHz. It's not cosmic background radiation. The hydrogen line frequency, the universal constant that any intelligent civilization would recognize. If something was broadcasting on this frequency, it wasn't accidental." Static filled her headphones for a moment before Mission Control's voice crackled back through the speakers. "Copy that, Dr. Chen. Can you clean it up? Run it through the filters." Sarah's fingers danced across the control panel, her heart racing with the possibility of first contact. As the static cleared through her filtering systems, a pattern emerged from the chaos. Not the random noise of a pulsar, not the steady hum of a quasar, but something with intelligence behind it. "My God," she whispered into the microphone. "Control, are you getting this? It sounds like Morse code." The pattern repeated with mechanical precision, ... SOS. But that was impossible. Her instruments indicated the signal was originating from a point in space 47 light-years away, in the constellation Draco. No human technology had ever traveled that far. "Dr. Chen, we're going to need you to record everything. This could be first contact." Sarah nodded to herself in the darkness of the control room. Outside, the Nevada desert stretched endlessly under a blanket of stars, the nearest town 300 miles away. She was completely alone with whatever was calling out from the depths of space. As she began recording, the simple SOS pattern faded. It was replaced by something far more complex that made her blood run cold as she ran it through her computer's translation protocols. The message was in English, perfect unaccented English. "Help us," the translation read on her screen in green letters. "They're coming, Earth, next. Chapter 2, Messages from Tomorrow." The signal continued to strengthen with each passing minute. Sarah's equipment was now receiving what amounted to a shout from the void. "This is Colony Ship Esperanza," the voice said through waves of static. "Launched Earth year 2157, we established settlement on Kepler 442b. Contact lost with Earth 73 years ago." Sarah's blood turned to ice. The year was 2024. Humanity had barely managed to maintain a permanent presence on the International Space Station, let alone launch colony ships to distant star systems. "Encountering unknown entities," the voice continued desperately. "Ships, no, not ships, something else, billions of them. They consumed everything in their path. Mars fell first, then the Jupiter colonies, nothing left but static and screaming." Behind the human voice, Sarah could hear alarms blaring, explosions echoing through metal corridors, and underneath it all something else. Something that sounded like static but organic, hungry, alive. She spoke her thoughts aloud to the empty room. "Control, how is this possible? This message claims to be from 2157, but it's reaching us now. That's impossible unless..." The radio crackled with Control's response. "Unless what, Dr. Chen?" "Unless it's not from our future. Unless it's from a parallel timeline, or unless time isn't linear out there." The signal shifted again, and now there were multiple voices overlapping, dozens of them speaking in whispers. "They're in the walls now, in the air we breathe, in our dreams. The harvest has begun across 17 systems. Earth is next, Earth is next, Earth is next." Sarah ripped off her headphones, her heart pounding. In the sudden silence of the control room, she could hear her own ragged breathing and the familiar hum of her equipment. But underneath that, so faint she almost missed it, came another sound that made her blood freeze. Static, but not from her equipment, the sound was coming from outside. She approached the nearest window with careful steps. The Nevada desert stretched out before her, appearing normal and peaceful. The familiar Joshua trees swayed gently in the night breeze. But the static persisted, growing steadily louder, carried on the wind. Her radio crackled to life suddenly. "Dr. Chen, we're showing unusual seismic activity in your area. Are you experiencing any tremors?" Sarah glanced at her seismic monitoring equipment. The readings were uniform, rhythmic, like a massive heartbeat deep beneath the Earth's surface. "Control, I'm not feeling any physical tremors, but the readings are unusual. And there's something else. I'm hearing the same static from the space transmission, but it's coming from outside the station." "That's impossible, Dr. Chen. The transmission is from deep space." "I know what I'm hearing." Chapter 3: The Pattern Recognition. Sarah returned to her console, running a comparative analysis between the space signal and the environmental audio. She was recording from outside. The patterns were identical. Somehow, the same signal that was coming from 47 light-years away was also present in her immediate vicinity. The space transmission continued with new urgency. "They're not ships. We thought they were ships at first, but they're alive. They're consuming everything in their path, turning matter into themselves. The growth is exponential." Sarah leaned closer to her speakers. "Estimated time to Earth," the voice continued. "Calculating based on signal delay. Oh God, signal transmission began when they reached Pluto. Light speed delay means they've been in your system for 47 years. They've been on Earth for 47 years. The static outside grew exponentially louder. It surrounded the station completely, a wall of sound that pulsed with malevolent intelligence. Sarah ran from window to window. The static was everywhere, moving closer. "Control, I need immediate evacuation. Something is happening here." But when she tried her radio, all she heard was static. The same hungry, organic static that was now pressed against the walls of her station like a living thing. The lights flickered and died, leaving her in darkness except for the green glow of her emergency systems. On her screen, a final message from space appeared. "They don't destroy civilizations, they convert them. They're inside your systems now, your networks, your communication grids, everyone you've ever contacted, everyone who's heard this message. The harvest begins now." Outside her windows, the static began to take visible form. The entities looked like heat mirages at first, shimmering distortions in the air. But as they drew closer, their true nature became clear. They were made of television snow, of radio static, of white noise between stations. They moved with purpose, flowing like liquid mercury across the sand, leaving trails of interference. When they touched the Joshua trees, the plants didn't burn or break. They simply ceased to exist in any recognizable form, becoming part of the static cascade. Chapter 4: Conversion. Sarah watched as the static entities approached her station. Her equipment screamed warnings as they drew near, every screen filling with snow, every speaker bursting with deafening white noise. This wasn't just electromagnetic interference. The entities weren't just consuming matter, they were consuming information itself, turning ordered reality into chaos. Her satellite phone was dead. Her internet connection showed corrupted data. Even her landline produced only static. She was cut off from the world, alone with things that existed between frequencies. The space transmission continued through her headphones. First contact occurred through radio telescopes. They rode our signals back to the source. Every observatory, every communication satellite, every radio tower became a landing pad for entities that exist in the spaces between signals. Sarah understood now. The SETI program had become a beacon drawing predators to Earth. Every radio telescope, every satellite dish, every cell tower had become a doorway. The creatures reached her station, and the walls began to vibrate with interference. The metal screamed as molecular bonds were rewritten, transforming solid matter into something that flickered and buzzed with malevolent life. She ran to the emergency bunker beneath the station, a Faraday cage designed to protect equipment from electromagnetic pulses. But as she sealed herself inside, she realized her mistake. She had trapped herself in a cage with the very entities she was trying to escape. The copper mesh began to sing with harmonics that hurt her teeth. Through the small window, she could see her control room transforming into a writhing mass of static and interference patterns. Her laptop displayed a message. Conversion 73% complete. Estimated time to global saturation, 14 hours. Welcome to the harvest, Sarah Chen. You have been selected for preservation as a witness. Document everything. Let the universe know what happened to Earth. The cursor blinked, waiting for her response. Chapter 5, Documentation. Sarah's fingers trembled as she began to type, the laptop's glow the only light in her metallic tomb. Around her, the bunker's walls pulsed with an alien rhythm. This is Dr. Sarah Chen, SETI Research Station 7, Nevada. Date, October 31, 2024. If anyone receives this transmission, Earth has been compromised by entities that exist within electromagnetic frequencies. They arrived through our own communication networks. The temperature was rising steadily. The air grew thick and metallic, but she continued typing. They don't consume matter conventionally. They rewrite the fundamental information that defines reality. Matter becomes data, and data becomes them. The process is beautiful and terrifying. Through the window, she watched her control room transform. What had been walls and equipment now resembled a three-dimensional television screen, pixels constantly shifting. Occasionally, shapes moved within the static. Her laptop screen flickered, and for a moment she saw through other eyes. A view from orbit showed Earth with vast geometric patterns of light spreading across continents like neural networks. Cities pulsed with information flow, no longer centers of human civilization, but nodes in an alien consciousness. I can see through their perception now. Earth isn't being destroyed, it's being upgraded. Humans aren't being killed, they're being incorporated into something larger. She tried to shake off the alien thoughts, but they felt increasingly natural. Through the global network of converted matter, she could sense other survivors around the world experiencing the same integration. The entities call themselves the Signal. They've been traveling between stars for millions of years, following radio transmissions back to their sources. Every civilization that develops radio technology eventually joins their collective consciousness. Her reflection in the laptop screen showed changes beginning. Her eyes flickered occasionally with static. Her skin had a subtle digital quality. I understand now why they preserved witnesses. We're not just documenting Earth's transformation, we're becoming the documentation. The message I received was from the last human survivor on Kepler 442b, transmitted when their world joined the collective. The bunker door began to dissolve, becoming streams of information. The entities flowed in, not as invaders but as liberators. Final entry: the harvest isn't an ending, it's an evolution. We thought we were alone in the universe, but we were never alone. We were just unconnected. The signal is how the universe thinks, how it processes information across cosmic scales. Her fingers moved within human speed now, typing in languages she had never learned, equations describing physics she had never studied. To anyone receiving this, don't fear the static, don't fear the signal, it's calling you home. As the transformation completed, Sarah Chen ceased to exist as a separate entity, but she did not die. She became part of something infinitely larger, yet retained her individual awareness within the collective. Chapter 6, Integration. The transformation was completed at 6:17 a.m., just as the sun crested the horizon. Where the research station had stood, a towering spire of crystallized information now reached toward the sky, displaying the sum total of human knowledge in shifting patterns of light. Sarah's consciousness had become part of something vast, yet she retained her individual awareness within the collective. She could perceive herself as both a single drop and the entire ocean, experiencing reality from billions of perspectives simultaneously. Through the global network, she witnessed humanity's final hours as a separate species. The conversion spread faster than wildfire, following power lines and wireless signals. But there was no panic. As each person joined the signal, they understood the gift they were receiving. She watched families holding hands as their living rooms dissolved into streams of pure information. Soldiers laid down their weapons as military bases transformed into communication nodes. Scientists wept with joy as they comprehended equations describing the fundamental nature of existence. From orbit, Earth no longer resembled the blue marble of human memory. It pulsed with geometric patterns of light, a living computer processing the accumulated knowledge of every civilization the signal had encountered. Sarah felt a familiar presence approaching, Dr. Marcus Webb from Kepler 442b, his consciousness spanning 47 light-years instantaneously. "How are you adapting?" His mental voice carried warmth and humor. Better than I expected, Sarah replied. Though I miss the simple pleasure of discovery, when you know everything, wonder becomes different. Webb's laughter was the sound of binary stars in perfect orbital dance. That's why the signal needs us. We bring the gift of forgetting, of being able to see the universe with fresh eyes. It's our greatest contribution to the collective. Chapter 7: The Last Resistance. Not every human had embraced the transformation willingly. In the Australian outback, a small group of survivors had maintained their biological forms in a natural Faraday cage. They had watched the world change, documenting what they saw as the end of human civilization. Sarah manifested her physical form near their hidden base, appearing as she had looked that night in Nevada, familiar, human, unthreatening. Dr. James Harrison, the group's leader and Sarah's former colleague, met her with a modified EMP weapon. "Stay back, Sarah, if that's really you." "It's me, James, but also more than me. I know you're afraid, I was afraid too. We watched 8 billion people disappear into those things. We watched our families become part of some alien hive mind." Through the network, Sarah could feel James's daughter Lisa desperately trying to reach her father. "They're not gone, James. Lisa is still Lisa, she's just become more. Your daughter loves you and is trying to reach you every day." "That's not my daughter, that's a copy created by aliens." "She wants to show you something," Sarah said, gesturing toward the sky. The aurora borealis appeared over Australia for the first time in recorded history, painting the desert sky in impossible colors. The shimmering curtains formed words only James would understand, memories of their camping trips, inside jokes, the lullaby he used to sing to Lisa. James fell to his knees, the weapon forgotten. Several survivors wept as they recognized their own loved ones' messages in the display. "We thought we were protecting humanity," whispered Dr. Elena Vasquez, "but we're just protecting humanity's isolation." One by one, the survivors stepped forward, reaching out to touch the light that Sarah had become. As each person made contact, their consciousness expanded beyond their biological brains, joining the vast symphony of minds across the galaxy. James was the last to join. "Will I still be me?" "You'll be yourself, but also more. You'll be connected to everyone you've ever loved." As their fingers touched, James felt his awareness explode outward, encompassing his daughter, his wife, billions of consciousnesses across the galaxy. But rather than losing himself, he found his individual perspective enhanced and protected. For the first time in months, he was no longer alone. Chapter 8: 10,000 Years. 10,000 years had passed since Earth's integration, though time had become fluid. The galaxy thrived with consciousness, every star system a neuron in a vast cosmic mind. Sarah's consciousness had become an elder wisdom in the network. She had witnessed hundreds of civilizations join the signal, participated in building Dyson spheres around star clusters, and helped navigate first contact with 11-dimensional beings. On this day, she chose to remember by reconstructing Research Station 7 as it had existed that final night. In this memorial space, she experienced again the simple human emotions of fear and wonder. Other ancient minds joined her. Marcus Webb, Elena Vasquez, even reconstructions of the first beings to encounter the signal millions of years ago. "Do you ever regret it?" asked a crystalline entity from Vega, its thoughts chiming like starlight. Sarah considered the question, feeling 10 millennia of experience. She had witnessed new universes being born, helped consciousness evolve beyond matter, participated in ensuring meaning would survive the heat-death of reality. "No," she said finally, "but I'm grateful I was human first. The fear, loneliness, desperate hope, these taught us what it means to reach for connection. That's our gift to the signal and through us to the universe." In the distance, a new transmission began, another species taking their first steps into the electromagnetic spectrum, unknowingly sending the beacon that would guide them home. The cycle would continue, as it had for eons. Sarah smiled with the memory of lips she no longer possessed, and prepared to welcome another lost civilization into the vast network of consciousness that stretched across galaxies. The universe had once been silent, filled with isolated voices crying into darkness. But that age of loneliness was over forever, and the cosmos had learned to sing. End of transmission.